Alright guys, tonight I thought I'd take a little bit of time and talk about shutter speeds. It's probably something most of you know quite a bit about. But I've talked about aperture and I've talked about film speed, so I want to make sure all the bases are covered. I'm also going to talk about different styles of shutters. So to start with that, you have two main kinds of shutters. You're going to have leaf shutters and focal plane shutters. Now a leaf shutter is a shutter that's housed inside of a lens, and it's typically found in medium format and large format cameras. It opens and closes like an aperture. Actually is an aperture. So you'd have a bunch of small blades that folded in a circular motion around each other. And that will have probably a maximum shutter speed of 1,000th, maybe 500th, and your shutter speeds would go down from there. Now with focal plane shutters, they open and close like a curtain right in front of your film plane or your chip in your digital camera, and those have incredibly high shutter speeds, up to, I believe, some of the higher end Canons may even go to a 1/25,000th of a second. But typically you'll find it up to an 8,000th of a second, even in consumer grade digital SLRs. So on the higher end of your shutter speed spectrum, you're going to have an 8,000th, a 4,000th, 2,000, 1,000. On the lower end, you're going to have T, B, maybe probably next would be a second, half a second, quarter second, and so on. Now what T is, T would be time, and if you had that option on your camera, what would happen is you would set your camera on a tripod and you would push your shutter and it would open. Now you could walk away, you could stand there, whatever. It'll stay open as long as you want it to. And then you come back, you hit the shutter again, and it closes. Now what that allows you to do, you can focus your camera on the North Star and have all the stars circle around it while you're camping. It'd be probably a 5, 6, 7 hour shutter, basically shutter speed. And then your next one is going to be bulb, and B is for bulb. So bulb, when you hit your shutter, just stays open as long as you want to stand there and hold your shutter. When you release, the shutter releases. And then at 1 second, your other shutters are going to act normal. When you fire the shutter, it goes for the allotted amount of time in the camera. Now lower shutter speeds would be for like what I explained with focusing on the North Stars, or on the North Star. Could be used for capturing action shots of your kids where you wanted your child in focus and you wanted to pan with them as they ran through the yard, and then you have the background that's streaked and blurry. The thing with that is trying to match their speed. And on the higher end, 8,000th of a second would be for sports, for action stuff, where you wanted to make sure you caught the receiver in the air catching the ball and froze them in the air. Most sports shooters are probably going to stay above 2,000th of a second to ensure that they really stop that action. They would never try and stop action with a lower shutter speed. Now you may see them using that for panning of sports in a game, or in basketball or football or baseball, whatever. So just to go back and cover it again, we're working with two different styles of apertures. You've got leaf shutters, which open and close like an aperture, and you'll find those in medium and large format cameras. And then you've got focal plane shutters, which act like a curtain right in front of your film or your chip plane in your camera, and they open and close exactly like a curtain. And that's your two styles. And then you've got your low-end shutter speeds, which would be for blurry or really long exposures of dark situations, to really high shutters of like 8,000th of a second for stopping action, or in incredibly bright situations, which would probably be rare, but so that's your shutter speeds. In a future post, I'm going to wrap all of them together. We're going to talk about your shutter speed, your aperture, and your ISO or film speed, and how they all correlate together and how you can manipulate those things to your advantage. So thanks for checking back in. If you have any questions, send them to david@dasophoto.com or hit me up on the website or blog www.dasophoto.com. Thanks guys, take care.